A plane flying at an altitude of 10,000 meters. The pilot was reporting his work, but just as the plane reached 9,000 meters, the captain suddenly felt unwell. Then he fainted. By the time the co-pilot noticed something was wrong, the captain had already lost all signs of life. Mark finally realized something was wrong and tried to stay calm. The wife was listening to music. She noticed her husband was acting strange in the cockpit, so she decided to go help him. Mary went to the cockpit and found the captain had already stopped breathing, so she had to remove the captain's body to lighten Mark's burden. But when she unbuckled the seatbelt, the body lost its balance and fell onto the plane's control stick. As a result, the plane began to dive toward the ground. The plane was getting closer to the ground. Just before the crash, Mary managed to pull the body out of the cockpit. Then she and Mark worked together to control the plane. Mary pulled out a flight manual and found the autopilot button. Then Mark called the ground tower. He needed to turn off the autopilot and manually reduce the altitude for landing, so he needed the ground crew to clear a runway for him to attempt the landing. After receiving the request, the ground crew began preparing for Mark's landing. At this point, Mark's youngest daughter had a sudden emergency. She had an allergic reaction to chocolate. If not treated in time, she could be in life-threatening danger. Mary immediately asked the older daughter to go to the trunk and find the medicine. Once they landed safely, they would head straight to the hospital for emergency treatment. Breaking through the clouds, Mark piloted the plane to the designated landing location agreed with the tower. Under the ground crew's guidance, Mark lowered the landing gear. Now all that was left was to brake the moment the plane touched down. But as the plane touched the ground, the alarm system suddenly went off because the plane was going too fast. If the brakes were applied forcefully, the plane could crash on the runway. In the end, Mark gave up the landing opportunity and chose to pull the plane up to look for a better chance. Unexpectedly, just as they reached high altitude, they encountered a new problem.